Isn't catching a criminal really just a race against time? I mean, we look at the clearance rates for violent crime in some of the big cities, and we see it's in the teens or the 15, 20, 25% of the people who rape, rob, home invasions. We only catch them like 15, 20% of the time. At most, that's on a good day. Murder, we catch a few more murderers, but there are places where the murder clearance rate is 20%, 30%. Some places it's higher, 60, 70%. But really, it's just a race against time because we know that the people committing crimes are just going to keep committing them until we catch them. That's why it's so important when we catch them not to be so eager to let them go. So here we see a story over in London. A bunch of the English fellas, they catch an Asian guy on a motorcycle delivering some takeout food. Catch him, surround him, taunt him, laugh at him, beat him, and they steal his motorcycle. All in a day's work. But again, it's like, okay, well, that as bad as that is, you know, we got the video. If we catch them, you know, at least they won't do it again. Aren't we supposed to have some confidence in that? Then we move over to a different part of London, where last year 6 lovely ladies saw an Egyptian student, a girl, a 20-year-old girl, at a bus stop. They surround her, beat her, and kill her. Yeah, she died in the hospital later. They killed her just the same as if they slit her throat, they shot her in the head, or if they threw her into a deep river, weighed it down with chains. And so now the young ladies go to court. They convict 4 of them, and none of the 4 are going to prison. Because the judge said, yes, he didn't like what they did. No, he's not going to stand for it 1 minute. But at the same time, we really shouldn't be criminalizing young people or putting them in jail. That should be a last resort. I used to think killing somebody was the last resort. So if somebody could help me out and tell me what the last resort is now, that would help, because I don't have a big enough brain to figure that out. But let me ask you this. If they're giving out community service for black mob violence, black mob killers, what do you think they're going to do to a couple of fellas who just have a little sport with some Asian guy carrying around takeout food? What are they going to do to them? Same thing down in Atlanta. Okay, so we got let's watch a video of 3 fellas who are now being sought and the murder of an Atlanta gay guy. The gay guy had a black boyfriend. I actually think that may have had something to do with it. I think the black boyfriend may have known the murderers on some level. He may have entered that circle on some level. That's how they knew who he was. Anyway, let's take a look at that.
Police have a new clue in a possible hate crime murder in DeKalb County. Now, these are the 3 people they want to track down. Police think they have something to do with the robbery and deadly shooting that happened earlier this month. And Channel 2's Sophia Choi is live in Decatur. Sophia, witnesses say the robbers yelled an anti-gay slur before killing the man.
Yeah, Fred, the victim was walking to that MARTA bus stop from here on Orchard Circle when witnesses say the robbers jumped out of a truck, threw on some masks, and then attacked. Take a look at these photos. These are the robbers. Police say shot Ronald Peters in the chest. Then, while he was lying on the ground, shot him again in the neck. We spoke to a man who witnessed the shooting on June 4th and heard the robbers yell an anti-gay slur.
The driver jumped out with a mask on, and you hear pop. And Trey just locked up and fell over. The driver ran up to him. I said, give me the bag. Shot him again.
And again, these are the people police say got away with Ronald Peters' bag after killing him on Orchard Circle in DeKalb County. Police marked the box labeled hate crime on their report. Investigators believe the 3 drove off in a 4-door maroon truck.
So now we got fellas going around killing gay people, but there's also a bunch of fellas going around hurting gay people. Just to see them on the streets, surround them, beat the crap out of them. It's a black thing. Yes, it's a black thing. I don't care what you see on television. But this happened to one gay guy in Philadelphia, and he decided, well, you know, the fellas, we don't need to criminalize them. We don't need to put them in jail. What we do need to do is talk to them and understand what they're up to. I know that sounds silly. You wouldn't believe it. You may have already seen us use this, but the more you think about this guy, the more you know he's not just a one-off. There's a whole lot of people who just don't want to be in that race against time. The only time they have is time to let the criminals go so they can go out there and do it again.
Streets of Old City, a group of teens attacked a man and tried to steal his backpack. The kids broke his jaw and got away with nothing. Now they're running free, nothing stopping them from doing it again. Fox 29's Shawnette Wilson live in Old City tonight. Shawnette.
Well, Shayna, picture the victim walking along this very block of Chestnut Street when he's punched in the face and knocked to the ground. Under doctor's orders, he's on a liquid diet right now for about a month to avoid having his jaw wired shut. But tonight, he did talk to me. He wants others to be aware of what happened.
Fractured mandible, my lower jaw, fractured cheekbone under my left eye, and the nasal bone here was also fractured, 2 stitches here, and bruising and cuts throughout my body.
His bruises tell one story, but the words from his mouth tell a very different one.
I do not wish ill will on these individuals. I do not wish to dehumanize them. They are people. Something caused them to do this.
32-year-old Rizzo Mertz calls himself an eternal optimist, even after the vicious attack he suffered.
I can't let this get me down. There's enough people afraid as it is.
Philadelphia police released this video from a business security camera on Chestnut Street in Old City. They say it shows a group of teens in the moments before they attacked Rizzo along the 300 block of Chestnut Street.
Sucker punched me in the left side of the face, resulting in a stitch. After that, the other males in the group set upon me or knocked me down to the ground, where I had abrasions on my my elbows, my hands, my knees.
He says it was around 12:30 Monday morning. He was leaving a friend at Society Hill Hotel after Pride Day in the city. Rizzo wants to stress he doesn't think the act was a hate crime.
I firmly believe it was a random act. I was at the wrong place at the wrong time. This could have happened to anybody.
2 days after the attack, he's wearing a shirt that says violence is not strength. And he says what happened hasn't scarred him.
Nothing will break my spirit when it comes to my faith in humanity and my faith in Philadelphia.
That's why I'm so disappointed every time I hear otherwise well-meaning and smart people. Whenever there's a crime in their neighborhood, they'll come out and say, oh, we need more cops here. We need more cops here. No, we got plenty of cops. They catch plenty of criminals. They don't stay in jail. Yeah, I'm talking about that guy who was just shot. The cop who was shot in Detroit last week. I think he was shot in his bulletproof vest, but I'm not sure. Next thing you know, the guy who shot him, they caught him in the middle of a robbery. These guys were professional robbers. They had plastic gloves on. They had ties where they were zip ties where they were professionally tying the people up, putting them in a room. They were clearing out the safe of all the drugs and money. Cops show up. The fella kills the cop. And the fella shoots the cop.
Please, sir. I want some more.
So they finally caught the fellas. They take him down to the station. They take him to court. And they're setting the bail. And the court psychologist says he's a threat level 1. That's the lowest threat level. So here's a guy that's robbing a drugstore, an armed robbery of a drugstore, and he's shooting a cop, and he's released on $500 bond. Okay, I don't like to predict the future. I don't like doing causes and solutions because I don't have a big brain like all the rest of you guys out there. But I'm pretty sure of this. We can't have a society whose central organizing feature is to forgive violent criminals because they've had a tough upbringing. That doesn't work. Even if it does make the black kids angry.